most of us are here, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. First item on the agenda is Forest Heights. So Mike, do you have any updates you'd like to offer on the Forest Heights project?
Updates. Yeah, there's well, we're still working to have an updated appraisal. Met with the planning board. It has some discussions about the frontage lot. It turns out the large subdivision bylaw can't be used because the frontage lot is already an actual legitimate lot, and you can't reduce the frontage by using the bylaw, which I didn't realize, and I don't think the town planner realized until we had the meeting with the planning board. But after talking with the appraiser, it's probably not going to make any difference anyway. So I guess what we're proposing to do is just get the new appraised value, and then talk to the select board probably sometime in June about it. Guess that's it.
All right. I did check the appraisal for the Machi property or the Fay Mountain Road property, and your Metacomet Land Trust was one of the intended users, audiences, whatever. And I read through it, and there's nothing that specifically restricts us from sharing it. You can't publish it, but there's nothing, doesn't mean you can't share it with somebody. So my take on it is, if you want to share it with your appraiser, that's fine.
Okay.
All or part of it, however you want to do it. And I think your appraiser is probably savvy enough to know that, it's basically just for information purposes.
Okay.
So yeah, whatever you want to do with it, as far as sharing it with your appraiser, please do that.
Okay.
Especially if you think it'll be of some help.
Yeah. I'll probably send it along.
Do you have a copy of it? I thought I had sent that out. Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
I have it. I just actually sent our appraiser some information about some comps, but few of them are actually CRs. They're Chris, the appraiser that we have information from based the value on land that was restricted, and his definition of restricted included just like unbuildable land rather than CR or deed restricted land.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm not sure if that'll be of any use to Ken Croft or not, our appraiser, but we'll know probably in a few days. We'll get his final appraisal. So
yeah. Okay. If that's it, I'll move on to the next item, which is the Fay Mountain Road land, and we met with the owner and his son a couple of weeks ago to discuss what it is they wanted to do with it. And we have a meeting scheduled for next week on Tuesday, or Monday rather. So I'm expecting to get at that point some definitive statement of what it is they want to preserve and how they want to preserve it. I think they're still trying to decide how much of the land to keep within the family, how much of the land to protect, and how to protect it, either to sell it outright or to either SVT or the town, or to sell either SVT or the town at conservation restriction. So that it remains to be seen what we're going to be able to do there in terms of preservation and size and how. So that's where we stand with that. the Lake Wildwood land, the only development there has been I asked the town manager to ask town council to give us an opinion of whether or not there's any deeded, either directly or by easement, access over the railroad, and they subcontracted that analysis to a title firm that responded no. There is nothing that they could find, which is consistent with everything that we've seen. And they went all the way back to the point where the railroad was created. They checked the plans at the wherever they are. They provided us copies of the plans that were created when the railroad was created, and they don't reference any access over the railroad at all. And there's no deeded easements in the deed. So in some instances, there are deeds that suggest they don't suggest, they state that there's either a farm crossing or a cattle crossing. But that's not the case with the deeds subject for the Lake Wildwood land. So I will be calling the principal heir and telling him that I'm going to share what the results of this investigation with him, and then talk to him about what next steps are, which will probably result in a meeting between the three of us, me, Tony from SVT, and the principal heir.
But Bill, could you share the title search with
Sure.
the committee? I just mostly want it just because of my interest in Lake Wildwood from the Lakes and Ponds Committee.
I have to follow up with town council, because and this is actually unrelated to the access, so I understand why it may not have gotten resolved or investigated, but there's part of the land where the only deed that I've been able to find is from one set of spouses to the other set of spouses. There's no deed that suggests the first set of spouses that deeded the land ever deeded the land in any way. Mm-hmm. So I was going to share that with the council, because if nothing else, it'll come up if we get farther on down the road in terms of acquiring the land. So, but she said she'd look at it and see what could be done, if anything, at this point. The title company just relied on the one deed, which was between the related parties, which clearly states on it. Title research was done. Title search. And then the other two projects, the church land off of Menden Street and the small parcel off Mechanic Street, there's nothing that's happened on those. That's it as far as the projects we've been working on. One thing I did want to do is remind everybody that if they're interested in continuing to serve on the Open Space Committee, they need to let the executive assistant, Susan Brower, for the executive assistant for the town manager know, so that they can put that on the agenda for the meeting the select board holds, where they will reappoint. And that'll probably be sometime in June. So if you're interested, you should let her know as soon as possible. And if there's anybody who's not interested, you might as well let her know that as well, because it'll just make her job a little bit easier.
Yeah, I already responded in the affirmative, Bill, to continue on.
Great. And then finally, we had somebody I believe lives on Kiwanis Beach Road contact the town about acquiring the land that was for sale, which was 6.65 acres along one side of on the right side of Kiwanis Beach as you're headed into the park. However, and the people who sold it approached us years ago about us buying it at the time, and we decided, the Open Space Committee decided at that time that it wasn't the best use of our money. And in any case, as far as I can tell from what's online, both have been sold. So they subdivided the 6.65 acre parcel into two 3+ acre parcels, and both were listed. And I found one site that said they're listed as under contract. So I just wanted to let you know that we had that request and there was nothing we could do about it at this point. Yeah, actually, one thing I'll say about the Fay Mountain Road land is, to the extent that we do get a final decision from the owners about what they want to do, we are in a pretty good place, because at least for the land grant, that grant is opened or will be opened quick soon and has a July application date. So we will likely be able to apply for that grant if it makes sense. So the timing is good in that regard.
Probably have to have the select board approve the application if we
Yep,
if we go
that's a
that
good
way.
point.
So
Yeah.
they keep that in mind in case. I don't know when they meet in July, but they probably meet in late June.
Yeah, I would probably, I hope to know, so that I conceivably could, I could go to a meeting in June and
In June,
ask for that.
yeah.
So like I said, I'm really hoping that they're ready to they've made a decision and they're going to tell us what it is on Monday. Because then there'll be some work to do. And the last item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the last meeting. And I guess one thing, Tom, that you needed was a list of the attendees.
Yeah, I didn't write it down, unfortunately, so I put everybody's name down, and I kind of think everybody was there, but I may have put somebody there that wasn't.
Yeah. So the easiest thing is there anybody here now who wasn't there at the last meeting? Yeah. So, and the only one missing from this meeting is Cheryl. So, and I believe
Yeah.
she was
I
there
do
last.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're good.
Okay, good.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I have one small change I'd like to ask for. It's under Foresight it says June 26. Tom, could you just change that to June 2026?
June 20. June
2026.
and the year 2026.
Right. Yeah. It's 6. I guess June 26 could mean,
Yeah.
next month. So.
Okay. So it's
but
the month of June and the year 2026.
correct. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Change it.
So any other requested changes? In that case, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
So moved.
And Chris seconded. So all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Is there anything else anybody would like to talk about?
Yes, Mike. Bill, could we put the open space plan on the agenda for the June meeting, or actually,
Sure.
the June meeting, so we can get
Oh,
that.
that's right. We have the
extension.
opportunity to extend it.
Extend it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and we have until September, I believe, to do that. I'm not sure if it's end of September or end of August, but we don't want to miss that.
Yep. I will add it. I will put it on the agenda for June's meeting.
Thank you.
Mike, how does that work? Is that sort of a one-time thing or?
They didn't give us a lot of guidance, but what I was thinking about doing is just, there's, I think section 7 of the open space plan has a long table with different tasks to do, and it assigns them to open space or conservation or recreation. And it went 7 years. I think what I would suggest we do is just provide the state with another an addendum to that table with 3 more years. And hopefully that would be adequate, but I can check with them to make sure that's all we don't need to do more than that, but
Mhm.
it's not like we have to rewrite sections of the report. I think we just need to modify that section 7 table. Hopefully that's all we have to do.
Are they
And
going 10 years now? Is that
I think so, yeah. There's
okay?
a new manual out that it's either out, it's going to be out soon. That's replacing the old manual, which was like from maybe 98 or something like that,
Oh
or
well.
2008, a long time ago. So they've updated. They're updating their manual, and I think they're going to go to 10 years instead of 7.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anything else? Well, in that case, I'm going to move that we adjourn.
Second.
Yeah, I got a couple of seconds on that. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Good night.